What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NBA Wise Stream. CK013 here. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I am from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find on Twitter at Wise_Take, Instagram, Facebook. You can see it on the screen. You can do the dirty. If you're watching us on YouTube, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications bell so you're notified whenever we put any DFS content out or go live. We do all kinds of DFS content right here on the channel, ranging in all different kinds of sports. And Monday through Friday for NBA, we bring you the Wise Stream 2 hours prior to lock. First hour, game by game with me. We got the WiseTake projections pulled up. We go game by game, just provide you with a visual. Make adjustments where need be. Hour number 2, we bring on Paulie. Today we have Shockey coming on. He's one of our hockey guys, PGA. He's one of the sports do-it-all guys. PGA, he's going to be the host of the NASCAR show. He's one of the PGA writers and analysts, does hockey articles. He's going to come on here and kind of keep the show coasting while Paulie and I, go through update. Second hour, we'll answer some questions. It should be easy to answer questions with Shockey on there. You can actually keep the chat pulled up for us. So it should be pretty good. Shout out to the nation. Shout out to you guys. We had a pretty good night last night. I got close. Had a good night overall, but was really, really close. Literally a Mikal Bridges 3-pointer away from, shipping the mini max, the $2, whatever it is. What up, Kyle? See you in the YouTube chat saying what's up. Also, guys, those of you who are with us now, if you could like the video, you'll hear me say that a couple times throughout the show because that's how important it is. It's annoying. I don't even like saying it, but if you could hit the like button, it goes a long way. It helps us out a lot. So let's get those likes rolling. Yesterday's slate was extremely chalky, and I did well. Got to play the chalk when the chalk makes sense. But today's slate's a little weird. We have a lot of injury news we're waiting for, like big ones. James Harden, Clint Capella, probably the biggest. But Andre Drummond is questionable. That's also pretty big. Miles Turner and Brogdon. That's like the first game. We still don't have the news for that. So this should be a slate. It actually is, definitely good timing to have. Definitely good timing to have Shockey on the show so we can make sure we're updating everything. I'll be updating the projections and everything as always. If you are looking, I did do the game by game breakdown is up. The written version, I'll try to update that throughout. Stevie Brown's cash article is up. I'm updating that for him as well. And of course, my core plays article I'll be updating in addition to the projections. So there's a lot going on. Should be pretty fun. It'll definitely be interesting to say the least. But yeah, it looks like as of right now, I'm assuming that Podal with at least one or maybe two of the guards of like Kyrie, Westbrook, Harden, Dame, as far as ownership goes, as far as what the builds look like, that's what I'm expecting. Which makes me think that I think people will play Whiteside, but I think that maybe some of those centers can go a little lower owned. So again, when I was setting through, and most of my builds right now are with the guards. I'm getting a lot of Kyrie, getting a lot of Westbrook, getting a lot of Harden if he's in there. The one person I'm having a hard time getting to is Dame, and I'm trying. I'm raising his projection. I've got him pretty much projected where I have Harden projected, and it just prefers to give me Harden, even though Harden's like $100 more. We'll look into it. I'll show you what I mean when we go game by game. But yeah, it's going to be a wild slate. The news is pretty important. Westbrook, I would imagine Westbrook, if we get the news before lock, Westbrook's going to become the standout of the studs. Obviously, Dame's ownership may raise just because people don't have Harden, so they may pivot to Dame. And I would expect Kyrie's to also raise. But Westbrook's ownership is the one that I'm expecting to skyrocket. That's the main significant ownership change if Harden gets ruled out, because everybody knows the usage is going to him, all that good stuff. We've got Spurs value. I don't know how much of it you want to trust, but we do have Jacob Podal. More of a value play on FanDuel. On DraftKings, he's still fairly priced. We'll get into him too. He does grade out well today. But on FanDuel, he's like 4-4. Problem on FanDuel is for playing him, you're not playing Whiteside, not playing Gobert. There's a lot of good centers on the slate today. So it's an interesting slate. Ownership feels kind of weird. Depending on where you look, it looks different everywhere you look. I mean, there are some players that seem pretty obvious. Podal, I do think, will be popular, but some of the other things, I've seen a couple different places disagree with each other. So it should definitely be a lot of fun. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. with our first game of the day. Chicago Bulls visiting the Indiana Pacers. 213.5 is the total. The Pacers are minus 9.5 at home. That's up from 8.5. So we go. Malcolm Brogdon, we know, is questionable. And Miles Turner, they're both game time decisions. So I don't think it makes. Well, like, I guess it does. Let's pull up the schedule article before we give it into this. I just want to see. I read it earlier, guys, but my short-term memory is not the greatest. So I just want to pull that up. System Sharp Report. Detroit, Brooklyn over. Okay. What? Did that say Rockets? Hold on one second. Check some shit real quick. Yeah, Rockets. Damn, that's rough. I bet on Portland. Son of a bitch. Well, apparently I got a report that the Sharps are on Houston. So if that's true, number one, I'm fucked. I just dropped 200 on Portland. Number two, maybe they have a hunch that Harden's playing. I don't know. We shall see. No, just speculation. Just speculation. There's nothing concrete there. All right, so the Bulls are on a 4-6, but they have had a day off. The Pacers are working with 2 days rest. I anticipate the Pacers to do some dirties here. Now, if Brogdon's in, that's going to make it even more difficult for the Pacers. But either way, it is what it is. When you look at Chicago, reality kind of sets in. They were kind of banged up. No Markkanen still. They don't have Gafford. They don't have Wendell Carter. They are banged up. We saw Jacob Poeltl go nuts to get some DeMar DeRozan. Did the dirty to him. Right? That was the Bulls, right? Anyway, on the Bulls, there just wasn't a ton I liked. I mean, Thaddeus Young is kind of interesting, but his price has gotten up, and he's been kind of mediocre at that price range. Zach LaVine would be the tournament option. You could argue that his minutes are a little low at 36. The price has come down, so I'm into that, but there's a lot of good guard options. I will say this. His ownership is going to be crazy low, right? LaVine, nobody's playing LaVine today. With all these guards, like people going to Kyrie, all these other things, nobody's playing LaVine. So for that purpose, if it makes sense, let's see if it makes any sense to give him an increase. 35 minutes against San Antonio, that was a close game. 39 against Cleveland. So it's a possibility he plays more, but I don't think it's a lot necessarily. I mean, in blowouts, he's played like 33. So 36 is probably already kind of aggressive, but you could put him at 37 if you wanted to, give him a little boost and see if you get any more. I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference because the other guys project so much better. Chris Dunn would be the other one that I think is somewhat interesting as far as the starters go. On FanDuel, I really don't like that price. On DraftKings, it's okay. He's actually been playing well, and he's been playing pretty good minutes with everybody out, so it's fine, but there's just not a ton from the Bulls that I'm interested in outside of LaVine. One value player that I think is okay is Kobe White. Take a chance on him. You know what it is with him. We have value around his tier, but he's actually got big upside because of all the shots he takes, all the three-pointers he takes, so he's okay. But as you can imagine, on this kind of slate, there's just not a ton that I like from the Chicago side. I mean, I very rarely like playing the Bulls regardless, but LaVine would be the main, I think. Looking at the Pacers, I don't mind Thaddeus either. Looking at the Pacers, so it's hard to really get a gauge for this. We've got Brogdon at 30. He's coming back from a concussion. If Brogdon already he's close. Like, we give him one more minute, and you're getting a decent amount of him. You give him 2 more minutes, and you're getting a lot of him. The price is too low on both sides for Malcolm Brogdon. He's coming off a concussion, so I don't know if they'll limit him, whatever the case may be. If he's out, we'll see an increase to TJ McConnell. I think he'll become an interesting value play, although we do have a lot of guys that are cheaper who are also in play. We'll get to them later. Aaron Holiday becomes a little more viable as well. Victor Oladipo is going to be back, which kind of like lowers my interest in the Pacers in general. He's not going to play a ton, I would imagine, but he is back, so he's going to play off the bench. He's going to be limited up until the All-Star break, but it's going to eat into like Lamb, the holidays. It's going to eat into this, and when he's on the court, it may even eat into some of the production. Miles Turner is also questionable. If he's in, it's a great matchup. I just have a hard time trusting him. Maybe we increase his minutes a little just to see if we get a little bit, but again, Poeltl's taking up a lot of space at a similar price on FanDuel, significantly cheaper. It's really Sabonis. I'm good with Sabonis if everybody's in, just because I know that his ownership will be low, especially on DraftKings at 9,400. It's a phenomenal spot. They got no way of stopping Sabonis. But I would prefer to play Sabonis if everybody was out. If Brogdon was out, Turner was out. I know Oladipo's back, but that could, I don't think that affects Sabonis too much. I'd be willing to raise his minutes, but you could see, and to really get him on DraftKings, that's like a manual move. Like, it's not going to project well. It's a manual. Because we're not projecting him for 40 minutes. It's, so that'd be something you have to manually get a piece of, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, not a ton I love in this game. Brogdon I would be interested in again if he's in and we hear there's no kind of limitation. So I don't know why we don't got that news yet. It's 5:13. But like I said, he's coming back from a concussion, so I don't know how that's going to play out. He's missed some time. He's been out for a little bit now. Not terribly interested in this game. Next up, we got the Memphis Grizzlies and the New York Knicks. Memphis Grizzlies, New York Knicks. We're going to do the dirty today. Welcome. For those of you that are just joining us, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Likes go a long way, help us out. And the subscribe button with the notifications bell. Make sure you don't miss out when we do. Got to get the notifications so you don't miss nothing the WiseTake Nation puts out. Hour 2, game by game with me, resuming with game number 2. And then, of course, hour number 2, we're bringing on Paulie and Shockey. Shockey's been trolling Paulie in the chat, too. He's been in the YouTube chat. I don't know why. They've never spoken. I was the one that brought, I was introduced to Shockey by Brew, and I brought Shockey on. And for some reason, Shockey's just been trolling the shit out of Paulie. His appearance, his singing abilities, everything. So we'll see. Shockey's an interesting character, so it should be, and I don't know what his beef is, but it should be fun. Let me just resort this real quick because I don't like that. I don't like when it puts the zeros up top. Going on to Memphis, we've got 222 total. This game is in New York. I just meant Memphis, the team. 222 total, down 2 points from 224. Memphis top 10 in pace so far this season. They are 2.5 points favorites on the road. Memphis has been hot, man. They've been winning a lot of games. The Knicks are the Knicks. Rough part of the schedule for both of these guys. Both teams on a back-to-back. Both teams on a 4-6. Both teams dealing with at least some travel. I think the Knicks were in Charlotte last night. So it's kind of a weird spot. On the Memphis side, Joval coming off a great game last night on a back-to-back against the Knicks. It can be a really good spot, but they don't necessarily have to play big if they don't want to, so that makes me nervous about Joval's minutes. But the price is worth trying in tournaments. I prefer Jaren Jackson. In general, the power forward eligibility has a lot to do with that. You figure if you are playing a lot of Podol, which I think I'm going to end up with a good amount, and even if I'm not playing Podol, the center's occupied because of Whiteside and Drummond, and if Christian Wood opens up, there's going to be other players. So Jaren Jackson, being that he's power forward, or at least on DraftKings has the eligibility, I'm kind of interested. Randall's never been a good defender. The only thing that worries me with Jaren Jackson is the potential foul trouble, because he's going to be guarding Julius Randle most likely on the other side. I guess I would think. At least when Taj is in the game, I would think. I don't know. Or at least when Mitch is in the game. So foul trouble is definitely a strong possibility. But matchup-wise, I'm not worried. When he's on offense, I'm not worried about no Julius Randle defense. Dylan Brooks been playing really well, man. I'm trying to give him the minutes. He's just not really popping that much. We can give him a boost, but I'm a little nervous about the price of 6.2. On FanDuel, though, at 56, a little more in reach. He's been playing well. Go look him up. Brandon Clark, always an interesting option. You kind of need things to go right. He needs to be really efficient, or you need Jaren Jackson or Joe Val to get into foul trouble, whatever the case may be. But his usage on the second unit could be even higher with what's his name? DeAnthony Melton once again ruled out. Jay Crowder is not on the injury report anymore, so I guess we're expecting him to come back. Not that kind of murkies things. I don't really like anything on the second unit side of Brandon Clark. And last but not least, John Morant. Price is down. Minutes look decent. He's in the Garden. The Knicks play really slow, kind of a disaster, So he'll be low owned because of how competitive the guard position is today, but it's still kind of an uncomfortable spot. Let's go over to. Miles Turner just got ruled out, so we're getting this news. Okay, so Brogdon's in and Turner is out. I wonder if there's going to be any kind of minute restriction. That's kind of interesting. Brogdon, man, he's been playing real well. Jakar Sampson will start for Miles Turner. So there's that if you want to do that. Victor Oladipo will be limited to 24 minutes off the bench. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. I'm going to actually jot that down. Oladipo, 20 minutes off the bench. So that is a bump to Sabonis. Remember, on FanDuel, a little easier to reach him. DraftKings is still probably tough. I will give him a boost in his projection, though. But keep in mind, Brogdon's also back, which could take some usage away. Brogdon also back. Brogdon combined with Oladipo for 24 minutes. That's not bad for your first game in like forever. But that's going to really murky things up for the guards over there. But Brogdon is obviously one of their main starters, so I think that's fine. Just make some quick adjustments here. Right here, right quick. All right, we'll come back to that later. Okay. As far as the Knicks go, the Knicks are the preferred side. I don't necessarily love anything from the Knicks either. Again, both teams on back-to-backs, 4 and 6s. But Elfrid Payton, I think, is fine for tournaments. Again, like this is a build in general that's going to be lower owned. I think a lot of people at point guard are going to go high-low between Reggie Jackson, Mike Conley, DeJounte Murray. And so I think, and they're going to go high with, Harden, Westbrook, Dame, so Kyrie. So I think this mid-tier is going to go really low-owned. Elf does make sense. Marcus Morris and Randall, they all kind of make sense for that mid-tier build. Randall, an interesting matchup. If he can get Jaren Jackson into foul trouble, well, first of all, Jaren Jackson is not a vaunted defender. And when he tries to play good defense, he typically gets into foul trouble. So I actually think Randall is interesting in this particular spot. Elf and Randall are my two favorites from the Knicks. Again, I don't love this game in general. It's hard to kind of favor this one or favor that balanced build over guys that are going for like 70, like Westbrook, Harden, and Westbrook and Dame anyway. They're going for like 70s, 80s, 90s. But yeah, I do think that some of these Knicks are viable. Again, like you can see Elf on a regular day without these studs, he'd probably project to be a pretty good play today. The price is up, but he's been consistent. So Elf, Randall first, then Elf, then Morris would be the main three. I don't mind Mitchell Robinson, but you know what you're getting with him. If there's foul trouble on the table, it's a risk. It's dirties. His price is up. But I actually don't mind, especially on FanDuel. Marcus Morris on FanDuel, Elf on FanDuel, Randall on FanDuel. They are a little more underpriced like everybody else is. But for ownership purposes, I anticipate this game being low-owned, and it's always easier to attack Memphis than it is to play Memphis, I find. Generally. We'll see what other news we get, but it was nice to get that news. Next up, we've got the Detroit Pistons visiting the Brooklyn Nets. This total's moved up to 227. So I've been going back and forth with Kyrie all day. Let's pull him up. He's currently one of the players in my core. All right, we got so we have a 227 total. Like I said, up from 233.5. The Nets opened up as 6-point favorites and now 6.5-point favorites. I think the Nets are working with 2 days rest. Yeah, the Nets are on 2 days rest. It's a 4 and 6 for Detroit. They did have a day off, but they still are playing their fourth game in 6 nights, so kind of a tough stretch. Not as bad as the back-to-back. Combined with that, but Brooklyn seems like they're in a pretty good spot. Kyrie also missed their last game because of the Kobe tragedy, but so he's a little more rested. We're anticipating he's going to play. Drummond is the big one for Detroit that we're waiting for. He's questionable with like a wrist injury. If he plays, he's in a good spot against Brooklyn, no doubt. And I think you have to make room for him at 9-7. The wrist injury could have some effect, but it shouldn't as far as rebounding goes and all that. Just maybe actual shots. But, I mean, you're not playing Drummond for actual shots. You're playing Drummond for putbacks, dunks, and a whole lot of rebounds. Reggie Jackson right now is my favorite play from the team. I have a conservative 23-minute projection because he would project too well because of how well he's played this season. And we have a small sample. I didn't want to reflect too much. But he has been playing extremely well. The usage has looked awesome. And I think there's a chance, Rose was out in the last game. But every game so far that Reggie has played in, his minutes have increased. So he played 19 in his first game back, 23 the next game, 25 the next game. So I would think that it's going to increase at least another 2 minutes, get him up to 27. I mean, I would think the plan is to eventually get him up to be starting again. Maybe that's not the plan, but that's what I would think. So with that said, I mean, we haven't projected well. And it's really like usage rates, 37, 31. The last game against Cleveland, I think that was the one that Rose sat, and his usage was 29. So Rose didn't really have that big of an impact on him, at least for that moment. Second, 14, 13, 14 shots. He's been active. Usage rates, 37, 31, 29. I'm with it. So I like Reggie at 4-3. Against Brooklyn, too. I also don't mind Derrick Rose, another player that's going to get lost in the shuffle. I think I was getting around 20% of him or so as of now, but that's because of how well the other guards project. But yeah, Drummond, Rose, and Jackson are very interesting. Now, if Drummond gets ruled out, I think Markieff Morris, if he starts, could be an interesting value option. Christian Wood would be chalk, but for good reason. It's a phenomenal spot for Christian Wood to come in and dominate. And then, of course, I would like Reggie and Drummond Reggie and Rose even more. I do think this game is one of the better games. This is probably my second favorite game overall. I mean, these teams just played. They went to overtime, so you don't want to, read too much into that aspect of it. But yeah, I'm with it. I do like it. On the Brooklyn side, Kyrie Irving, we're expecting him to play. He missed the last game because of the Kyrie incident we found out. So, I'm sorry, because of the Kobe tragedy. So we're expecting him to play and expecting him to give like a tribute performance. We have him at 35 minutes, which is pretty aggressive. I think it's actually 34 and a half. I'll double check that. Yeah, we have him at 34 and a half. Now, if we bump him to 35 minutes, which is a possibility, and the last time Kyrie played was against these guys, and the game went to overtime. But Kyrie did play 40 minutes total. So you take, 5 minutes away, and he did play around 35. So it's there. If I leave him where he is now at 34 and a half, you're going to get some, but not as much as like I initially had. I did recently lower that half. If I put him up to 35, he's going to project even better, and he becomes one of the best plays on the slate. So we're on that line. We got to decide. I'm tempted to. I do like Kyrie. I do think he plays really well. In the articles, you notice I did highlight him a couple times. So I plan on it. I'm just kind of wishy-washy. I think that the Harden news would help me, but we may not get that, right? So for now, I do like Kyrie. I think he's one of my favorite plays on the slate. The problem, it's like you're talking about, he could play 40 minutes if the situation called for it. But that would be overtime. Like the other guys can get 40 minutes without overtime. You know what I'm saying? But Kyrie's been a very high point per minute player, a point per minute average. So I do like him. I think I may raise him back up to that full 35 minutes, which would, like I said, as of right now, at least what I'm getting would make him pop a lot more. Decisions. It's the difference of like that half a minute right now is making the difference of 21% Kyrie or like 60% Kyrie. That's how big these like things could be with projections, all that kind of stuff. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, you dirties. Let that run. Okay, outside of him, Jared Allen, I'm not as into. We have a lot of interesting centers that are, above and below him, and DeAndre Jordan's back this time, so I don't think the minutes are as solidified. He did roast Drummond last time. Joe Harris is actually probably my next favorite. Very low floor, but he does play minutes. He's played well against Detroit over his career. They have struggled against guys like him that kind of just, wait for the open three. So I think Joe Harris is an interesting value play. Projects to be okay. A guy that I'll end up with. But like I said, Kyrie's the main guy we're looking at here. And if I play Kyrie, I'm looking to play him with like a cheap guy maybe. Karis LeVert, I would love to play while he's cheap, but they will not play this dude more than 23 minutes for whatever reason. Overtime or not. Kyrie missed the last game. They still didn't play more than 23 minutes. The game before that, they went to overtime, still didn't play him more than 23 minutes. So for whatever reason, I don't know if it's a health issue or if it's him, part of development. I don't know. Maybe they don't like him, but he's not playing more than 23, and that makes it difficult for us to roster him. But I don't mind Taurean Prince. If we had an injury, I'd like him a little bit more, but I'm okay with it, especially if Drummond's out. I like him a little bit more because then I think that opens up some of the rebounding down low. I think that we'll see Markieff Morris lined up with Prince a lot more. in that scenario. So, something that we're waiting for. We should hopefully we get that Drummond news soon. It's ridiculous that you can see what kind of day it's going to be with the news. Let's move on to the next. What we got here? I'm just ready, man. I'm ready to react. I'm just waiting for the news to come in. I'm ready to react. Take a quick break. Check out the chat. Podal. Okay. Crazy Cooks want to know what I think about Podal. So as of right now, I'm gonna end up probably around 60% or so with him. So obviously, I like him. He'll be my highest exposed center. But at the same time, this is what I'll say. At the same time, we do have a lot of good centers on the slate. A lot of these centers have ceilings that are could weight something. And again, it does. To my opinion, it seems like most people are likely to rotate in these guards, and they're willing to sacrifice the center a little bit. I do think Whiteside and Drummond will be the two highest owned, but we got Gobert in a really good spot. We have other centers, so initially I lowered his projection a little bit because I still want to play him a bunch. You have a utility spot too on DraftKings, it makes it easier. I still want to play him a bunch, but I want access to some of these other centers also. So if I'm doing one team today, like for me personally, like the way things are going, it would be a Podal team with the guards up top. But again, I think there is some interesting. For game theory purposes, trying to get a lower owned build by paying up at center and settling with a mid tier guard option instead of the guys up top. I think there's some viability to that strategy today for tournaments. I'll say that. But I do like Podal to answer your question. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate those of you who have. I'm gonna keep asking you throughout the video. Hit that like button. Let's do it. Do the dirty. For your neighbor, for the dirty does it to you. Shout out to Huey, by the way. Huey, one of our hockey writers. Our hockey guys just love basketball, I guess. And one of our hockey writers, he does tournament articles for us, won like 3,500 on FanDuel yesterday. So shout out to him. He actually finished initially like fourth, I think, and then it was a stat correction he benefited from, knocked him into first, won 3,500. So shout out to Huey. Again, it was a good day yesterday for the nation. It was a good day, for sure. Let's see. Next up, we've got the Utah Jazz visiting the San Antonio Spurs. Here we go. We have a 219.5 total, down from 220. Not a ton of movement. The Jazz are minus 5.5. Ballsy, right? The Jazz being 5.5 after they just lost at home to the Rockets on a back-to-back 4-6 with no Harden, Capella, or Westbrook, three of their best players. Interesting. Let's see. So starting off with Mike Conley, his minutes have been elevated. He played 25 minutes in that last game. He's been coming off the bench, but the minutes are there. It's not like he's not doing great. He's really not. Like his point per minute this year with Utah has been disappointing. But he's only 3,800. I mean, I think he's worth us at least looking at least on DraftKings, where you're not sacrificing that position as much. So I do think Conley's in that mix. There's a few value point guards like Reggie Jackson that we talked about. And some of I think Conley's somewhere in that mix. That's all I'm saying. Donovan Mitchell, another one that's going to, I think, get lost in the shuffle, as most go to CJ McCollum in his position, most go to DeRozan at his position. So for ownership, I think it's viable to get some exposure to him. He does play big minutes in a competitive game. You would expect him to continue to play big minutes. Jordan Clarkson price has come down to a point where he's at least interesting in the conversation. Rudy Gobert's in a really good spot. The price is up, so it's hard to get him to project where we need him to be. But it is a really good spot. I may need to do something to get more of him because I don't think I really got any. So let me see. We go there. Say I went to 37.5. We got about 37 minutes, but say I go 37.5. We'll see what that does. Let me just readjust this. Give me 1 second, guys, while I make some updates real quick. Okay. do it? Did I do it? Yes. Okay. Made some adjustments. All right. Bojan Bogdanovic also interesting. Gobert, it didn't change it a ton. On FanDuel, you're not coming close still. On DraftKings, we're on the right step. So remember, the Spurs are without LMA, which isn't a big deal. Their defense is terrible against bigs anyway. The Spurs give up. They're one of the worst teams that defend in the paint. So I know Gobert was he was held in check by PJ Tucker. I kept making fun of him, and I will continue to make fun of him because I still think that's embarrassing. I don't care how big and strong PJ Tucker is, man. You're like 7'4", man. I don't know how the hell you got punked by him. But anyway, I would anticipate this matchup to be a little softer for him against Mr. Podol, who is big, but probably not as strong as PJ Tucker's little pitbull ass. Let's go to the other side of this. So the Spurs are very interesting. We have a lot of value here. DeJounte Murray was put on this earth to haunt me in 2020. He's flashed a massive upside over his career, but doesn't seem to be in good standing with Pop. In the last game, his usage was crazy low. It did look like he hurt his finger in the first quarter, and then he didn't want to take a shot after that. He was just taking layups. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. He's been starting the halves, which is great, but he's not always closing. It seems rare that he closes at this point. He's not a great scoring option, so when they want to score, they do bring out. But one thing he can do is rebound. The problem is you got Rudy Gobert here. So I do like him. The price is too low for the upside. I respect it. I'm going to play a lot of Murray. And I'm angry about it. I'm going to be honest. I'm angry about it. Jakob Poeltl, we talked about already. You can see where we have him we have him for about 29.5 minutes or something like that, basically 30. On FanDuel, the price is still crazy too cheap. You would think they need him. He played 36 minutes against Chicago. That was a really good matchup for him, but it wasn't a matchup where they necessarily needed him. He was just playing well. You would think they need him a little bit more here, but if he gets into foul trouble, I guess that mid-2 guy will get some run, maybe Trey Lyles. I do think Trey Lyles and Rudy Gay are both there. I'm going to have some spread-out ownership of them, kind of working them in and out of these teams. Patty Mills has been playing really well. They've been relying on him for some scoring. So LaMarcus Aldridge is out. We don't want to just throw away the rules of optimals. You know, the prices on some of these guys have come up a little bit, but we do have an injury here that we're looking to take advantage of from a usage standpoint, from a minute standpoint. It's hard to gauge the value. Rudy Gay only got 22 minutes in that last game. We don't know what Pop's move is going to be, but if players are efficient, they can make things happen. Trey Lyles, like I said, another one that I think is interesting. So I will end up with a lot of Spurs kind of scattered. A lot of Podol. He'll probably be, him and Podol and Murray and DeRozan will be the three I have the most of, but I'll have some Gay scattered, some Lyles scattered, as we do need some value to reach all those guards if that's what we want to do. Or even reach some of the centers if that's not your thing. Yeah, man, Huey does kill it on NBA, man. Huey does the dirty over there. Huey's been doing the dirty for NBA, man. He has been doing well. I mean, honestly, for I know for me, this has probably been definitely one of my best years of NBA DFS so far. Last night was good, but the run I had at the beginning of the season was awesome. In general, I think the nation is my point. I'm not trying to. That wasn't like a humble brag. The nation in general, I think has been doing good. I like what we're doing. I like the process. It seems to be working, so we're gonna keep doing it. And that's why we need you guys to hit the like button and subscribe and tell your friends and everybody about us. That's why. Let's go on to the next game. Here it is, game of the night, at least as far as I'm concerned. Houston Rockets, Portland Trailblazers, 239 total, up 2 points from 237, which it opened at. The Rockets opened up -1.5. They're up to -2.5. Did get a report that the Sharps are betting on Houston. That makes me a little nervous. For fantasy, it could be all right, but for the game itself, made me a little nervous, not gonna lie. So schedule-wise. So the Rockets had a day off since they upset Utah. This is the I'm sorry. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about Utah. Utah has a game tomorrow. Keep that in mind. So they're not at home. At home, if the game gets ugly, they're not as likely to play their guys fully. I'm not saying it will. It's a 5-point spread, which isn't crazy. But anyway, Houston's working with a day off, but they are still in that 4-6 stretch. Now, Harden did miss on their last game. I think he missed the last 2 games. I think he missed the last 2 games. Westbrook sat out for a rest against Utah. So Westbrook's back. We know that. Harden is the one we're waiting for. Harden and Capella are questionable. So as things stand now, I've got Harden at 35 minutes, and I did that to kind of reflect. Obviously, if he plays, he'll play a little more than that, but I'm just trying to reflect how he's been because his price is down, and it'll give you like 100% Harden if I project him at his real 36 to 38 minutes. But that's not how he's been playing lately. Inversely, I over-projected Westbrook by a minute or two. He has been playing big minutes, so I don't even know if it's that much of an overstatement. He's been playing monster minutes when he's been playing. He's been playing well, too. But to reflect, to kind of counteract how he's been doing on the season. So I do prefer Westbrook. If Harden's in, I'm gonna have them distributed fairly evenly. I'll probably have more Westbrook still, but I will have Harden because I think Harden is due at some point to kind of bounce back. We'll see if he plays or not. One thing I'll say about Harden that is interesting: if he plays, if he does play for sure, then I probably will. Right now, I kind of have it reserved. In case we get the news, I can make some pivots later with all those guys because they're all around the same price and position. If Harden does play, I'm going to have to strongly consider the order in which I have my exposures on these guys. Because I do know that Kobe did once tell Chandler, I'm sure you all saw the tweet or whatever, but Kobe supposedly told Chandler once that he felt like James Harden was the next guy after him. So I would anticipate Harden to use that as motivation if he does play. He's nursing an injury. Harden don't miss a lot of games. He's missed 2 in a row. So obviously this injury is somewhat of a hindrance. It's just annoying that we're not going to have this news. And the game is later, so you might have to just like, if you're on FanDuel, you might have to just like roll the dice, man. It's scary. What time does this game start? Actually, what's the actual start time? 10 o'clock. Shit. Yep. It's going to be tough. Like I said, if you're on DraftKings, you could at least leave that shit open. But, yeah. If you're on FanDuel, if you don't have the news, it's going to be tough. But as it stands now, right now, we've got Westbrook ahead a little bit. But again, if I project Harden where he should be, which I probably should, it's going to change and we're going to get a lot more Harden. And I probably will correct that as we get a little closer. I'm just hoping we get some news. But like I said, in the meantime, Westbrook's been the one that's played well. And even playing Portland this season, Westbrook's gone for 68 and 69. Harden has struggled in both games. So I don't know. I'm still debating. Westbrook has been the better play lately. So I kind of want to leave it as such. And like I said, doing it this way, I'll get plenty of both. They both project really well when you weigh out the raw points relative to their salaries. So it's a tough decision. Now, what's interesting is if like Capella gets ruled out. If Capella plays, his price is kind of up there, at least on DraftKings. So, and I think there'd be room to raise his minutes 1 or 2, which would make him kind of interesting and make him really strong on FanDuel, I think. Whiteside's not a good defender. He is a big motherfucker, so we would think that Capella would have to play a lot, at least while Whiteside's out there. If Capella gets ruled out, last time they went PJ Tucker on Whiteside. It'll be interesting to see if they try that again. Hartenstein got 5 minutes and ruined everybody's life. I don't think anybody wants to hear that motherfucker's name again, at least not right now. It's too soon, I know. But I'll say this, Whiteside is not as big of a bitch as Rudy Gobert. And I don't mean that as like Rudy Gobert is like a punk ass bitch. That's not how I mean it. I just mean like playing styles. Whiteside is a little more aggressive usually. Whiteside is a little thicker, you know? So I'm not sure how they're going to approach this. Maybe like, what's his name? They used Tabo and PJ Tucker on Gobert, I think, last time. And Tucker did get into foul trouble a little bit in the first half. Like, he only had 3 by the time it was done. He had 2 real quick in the first quarter. So, I listen. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw a little troll job from this mother sucker. That's all I'm saying. I'm not doing it. If Capella's out, if Capella's out, then maybe, because he is real cheap. But I'm just putting it out there. Troll job wouldn't surprise me. Mad chalk, right? Busted. Now nobody plays him because they assume he's not going to play, and he does. Because PJ Tucker's like 6'5", 6'6", at most 6'7". That's why I liked him last time so much, even though he was chalk. I did not think that they would allow him. To cover Gobert that long. But it worked. They held Gobert in check. It worked. Him and Tabo together did it. On the other side here, we've got Portland. So everybody's healthy now. Dame, even with McCollum back, went nuts. Dame's been playing monster minutes. I have him at 41 minutes, and I'm still not getting him over Westbrook and Harden. I will get more of him, I'm sure, if Harden were to get ruled out. If Harden were to get ruled out, that would also make Westbrook an elite play. Obviously, he's already a good player. Make him an elite play in this matchup. But Damian Lillard, it was hard. It was kind of hard to get to, even with this. So if they all play, it's tough. You'd have to like manually find a way to force it in. And we've got him projected at 41 minutes. Like he is playing those kind of minutes. Don't get me wrong. We thought they would come back down to earth now that McCollum is back. They would not want to burn him out or whatever. But we thought wrong. Dame got 38 minutes against the Pacers. Oh, he got 38. He did. But look what Dame's doing. 92, 70, 84 of his last three. Only one of them was with McCollum back, though. So I'll say that. And before that Pacers game, he was playing 42, 45. That was without McCollum. But still. So he is my least favorite. I mean, it's just nothing more than game theory to play him over those other guys. Whiteside, on the other hand, I am interested in. I think he's one of the top center spend-ups on the slate. I expect him to be popular. I think people would agree with that. I mean, he should, we'll see if he does what Gobert should have done. We will see. Carmelo Anthony has a chance to, rub it in the face a little bit of, Houston again. Obviously, he did it last time. He didn't, he went for, 33 DraftKings points. At his price now, that wouldn't be, phenomenal. Well, it wouldn't be bad. He's only 5'9" on both sides. So, I'm cool with Carmelo. I'm cool. Especially in game stacks. CJ McCollum, I think, is going to be somewhat popular for the people that can't reach Dame but want to stack this game. They'll play Harden. They'll play Westbrook. They'll play Kyrie. And they'll settle for McCollum, I think. So I expect his ownership on DraftKings to be relatively somewhat high. And I'm fine with McCollum. I got no problems with McCollum. I'm in the same boat. I'm having a hard time reaching him. It's easier for me to get Whiteside, Carmelo, and McCollum than it is for me to get Dame. And again, I have Dame projected for 41 minutes. It's a wild world we live in. But it's the world we chose. But you know what I mean? We didn't choose it. You know what I'm saying? Awesome. Crazy Cooks. Glad to hear it, bro. Glad to hear it. All right. Last game here. We take a little break. We get the Shockey Paulie D duo. That should be a lot of fun. Again, still waiting for this news. Still waiting on the news, guys. Oklahoma City visiting Sacramento. We've got a 221 total, up from 220.5. This is the other game that starts at 10. Thunder opened up -3. They're down to -2.5. Let's take a look. OKC, though, where you at, though? Suck it. What up, pimp? Love that shit. This shit is hilarious. All right. Steven Adams is very cheap. He's been limited, but he's very, very cheap. Good matchup against the Kings. He could really smash in this spot, but he's priced at the same price as Podol. So his ownership is going to be crazy low. I don't know if he's going to still be limited. He was the last 2 games. We'll see. I don't mind Gallo also. On DraftKings, it's hard to get there at 6'8". But I don't hate it against Sacramento. It's a pace-up spot. Bielitsa, him and Bielitsa going at it's kind of interesting. They look like the evil twin versions of each other, like Power Rangers. They look kind of like Power Rangers. Bielitsa would be the Purple Ranger. Gallinari be maybe the White Ranger. I don't know why, but when I think of Oklahoma City, I always think of their white uniforms. Anyway, Gallo's okay. Nerlens Noel for value is all right. He's going to play around 18 to 20. Chris Paul missed his last game because of the Kobe thing. Another low-owned option. Maybe he's playing for Chris Paul. Maybe he's got. For Kobe. Maybe he's got the narrative deal. It's possible. He might go out there and just chuck up a bunch of shots. I don't know. Dennis Schroeder's price is up. Hard to do it now with Paul back. On FanDuel, it's reachable. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's been disappointing, but he plays big minutes. There wasn't a ton here that I was into. I think Chris Paul would be the one. Chris Paul, Gallo, and Adams would be the main ones I'd be looking at. Could be a sneaky spot for Shai. I just don't feel comfortable with that price. But of the game, of the two, you would think the OKC side. Well, maybe not. Looking at the Kings side, Bogdanovich just won't get out of my life. He's been terrible, but they keep making him cheap, so I think he's an option. Harrison Barnes, also an interesting value option, more so on FanDuel, I think at 4-4. De'Aaron Fox, I don't mind at all. I think he's another point guard. I think he's one of the point guards. He's like on that upper mid tier, like lower stud. I think he'll get some ownership, but not a ton. His usage has been great, especially when they don't start Buddy Hield. Speaking of Buddy Hield, off the bench, he's been awesome. 7-1's a stretch for a bench player. The game went to overtime last time, so you saw the 37 minutes. But you take away the 5 minutes, 32 to 33 is reasonable. The only issue with them doing this is I've noticed, like in regulation, the minutes have been lowered for the both of them. So like Hield and Fox are both getting around 32 or so. But the usage while they're on the court looks really good. So I'm still into it. Kyrie Irving expected to play. So I think we were all already expecting him to play, but it's official that he's expected to play. Yep. I didn't like a ton. If Adams plays a lot, they might need Dedmon again, so he's another value center you can consider if you want to do it. The Kings are an interesting stack just because of how cheap the way the prices work. You can see they're all in that over 5 projection deal. So they're interesting. I mean, it's a weird spot, right? Let me just check something. See if we can make an update before we get out of here. We have a couple minutes, and then I'll switch off, and we'll get ready to make the switch to bring on Shockey and Paulie. Whew. Want to make some see if there's any updates we got to make. The Harden thing we got to make a decision on for sure. Yes, we do. I'm curious to hear. I'm gonna go back and read the chat in a second. I want to hear from you guys. If Harden plays, Harden, Westbrook, or Dame. I'm curious because, like I said, the ownership I'm seeing different things. So I'd like to know what you guys think. While I update the Pacers projections real quick, then we'll go back in and take a look at it before we switch off. We had the news, we could do it more, but we don't got no news to work with. Salaries, we'll go Indiana Sun, 37. 30 Seattle. 30 Seattle. Okay. I'm going to show you in a second what we did with the Pacers. All right, it should be ready. Let me resort it real quick. All right, let's go back to the Pacers real quick. So with the Brogdon and Turner news. So yeah, Brogdon. Wait, what the fudge? We have an error. We have an error right now. Oh no, we good. Okay, it was updating. It should throw me. I said you saw that, right? It said Brogdon center. We're good. Brogdon, we put it at around 30 right now. I'm afraid because if I put him too high, you're gonna get a ton of him in that first game, and I don't know how many minutes he's gonna play. Especially with Oladipo coming off. What if the usage ain't there? So I put him at 30, which I think is kind of conservative. Sabonis on FanDuel looking better and better. On DraftKings, still tough to reach at 9,400. I'm with it. All right, Nation, that's going to do it for the first half of the game by game. Oh, yeah, it's going to be a wild slate. Should be a lot of fun. It's in our wheelhouse. We'll be back. You don't have to go anywhere. We're just going to switch to a screen to play some background music, a still screen. We'll be back around 6-ish or so. Take a little 5 to 10 minute break while we set up, get Shockey and Paulie on. Paulie D's cheat sheet should be out soon. Cam should be up soon as well. My articles, I'm going to do some updating on that as well. And as we get the news, I'll continue to do the projections. So give us some time to set up. Don't go anywhere. Hit the like button if you haven't already. We'll be back with part 2. Like I said, it's the same stream. We're just going to switch to a little still screen, play some background music if it works. And We'll be back in a couple minutes while we set up. So Daniel D says Westbrook. I'm kind of with you on Westy. I know, I feel the same way. Cook says, honestly, bro, I feel like Harden goes off today. I've been optimizing it every time it keeps spitting out Lillard and Harden together. That's game stack. I mean, but I like Kyrie over Lillard. I like Kyrie too. I don't know. It's tough. I like Westbrook and Kyrie, but I have this pit in my stomach about Harden if he does play, like just going nuts. So he's due for it. And obviously the Kobe thing, I don't know. Maybe they both do it together. Maybe this game is just crazy and everybody goes nuts. It's possible. But anyway, guys, we'll be back with part 2. Just hang tight with us right quick.
What we do here is go back.
What up, nation? We are back with part 2 of the NBA Wise stream. And we are joined by a very special guest. First up, the one you all know, Paulie D. You can find him on Twitter at Paulie with 8 Ds. You know him, the GOAT, the true OG. Next up, we got Shockey, a.k.a. Clint Petrikis, one of our NHL writers, becoming a utility man very quickly. Going around on, we got him on the PGA shows. He's doing the PGA articles, NHL articles, doing PGA shows with Brew once a week. Doing the NASCAR streams coming up soon. And now, we're going to be one of our hosts for NBA. We can bring him on here now. You can find him on Twitter at Clint Petrikis, as you can see on the screen. Clint, a lot of the nation already knows you now from hockey, from PGA, but some of the YouTube nation does not fully know you in the NBA world, bro. Say what's up to the nation.
What's going on, WiseTake Nation?
That was the big build-up?
I'm here for the first time.
That was the big preparation?
Yeah, you see, this is why I need better preparation.
He told me he needs preparation, and that's it. What is WiseTake Nation? I like it. I like it, Clint. Yo, real quick, man. I know, like Clint's here to host. You're gonna host, and the reason we got him here is to help us out, so that Paulie and I can do the dirty, still answer questions, and get to your guys' stuff, because we've had a hard time doing it when it's just the two of us. But I wanted to ask, you've been in the chat trolling Paulie. This call is the first time you've actually spoken to Paulie, even since coming aboard with us. And for some reason, the last couple of days, you've just decided to just go in and just troll the shit out of Paulie for whatever reason. And it's hysterical. And it's hilarious. I'm just curious. Like what is it? Like what it is, man.
I just like to do it to people. And I was like, let's do it to a guy that doesn't know me. And let's see how it goes. And I think it went terrific.
Well, now you ended up here, so I guess it did.
It worked.
I guess it worked. All right, Clint, go ahead and take us through this, bro. This is your world, Squirrel. We're just trying to get a nut.
We have a medium-sized slate, 6 games here. Paulie and CK will take you through their top price plays, mid-range value, favorite plays, and I will be supporting. If any questions come up in the YouTube chat, Ystream chat, I will feed it to them and be up to date. I have injury news ready to go, so if anything unexpected happens, or someone decides to pull a Charlotte Hornets like they did last night, I will be up to date on it. So I will go back. CK, what are your top price plays of the night?
See, the expensive portion, I'm still kind of on the fence with. Like, hold on. I think we just got a little bit of news. I think Harden's expected to play.
And Capella is also expected to play.
Oh, okay. There we go. Oof. That's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and start making some updates. Paulie, I'm going to kick this one to you while I get in some of this news. I've been waiting for it all day. And, of course, it comes right when we start the show. Better now than never. Better late than never. Paulie, you take that one while I make some updates.
All right. So at this point, Drummond is kind of the biggest piece of the puzzle that we're still missing.
I think you got the wrong mic up. Try switching in your headphones.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. There you go.
How about that?
There you go. Yep. There it is. Holla.
All right, cool. Yeah, so Drum Dog Millionaire, the last piece of the puzzle that we don't have at this point. Nice to know that Harden's playing, with him out. I think, there just wasn't many pay-up options. Now it kind of gives us something to think about. Dame Lillard's my favorite spend-up by a lot. I'm just kind of going to ride the hot hand. He's the guy in Portland. They need to win games in a hurry. They made a trade to get Ariza. They want to, compete. They want to get back into the playoffs. They think they have, a better nucleus of a team than last year. So I think they're just going to keep riding Dame and his hot hand. And you got like Harden and Russ. Russ has been out playing the shit out of Harden lately. I think, Harden was dealing with a little bit of injury. I've never seen him just step aside as much as he did last game. And I don't think that's going to last very much. If I got to choose between Harden and Westbrook, I'm leaning Harden. I'm trying to decide if that's like bias because I've been playing Harden and I don't want to like jump off and be wrong, or if that's like what I truly think. And I do. I think like, if they played this game 100 times, like Harden's going to be the higher scorer more often than not. That said, I'm going to have a little bit of both. I think it'd be stupid not to have a little bit of both, but I'm going to have a lot more Dame Lillard. I'm just going to ride that hot hand, and I think that's going to be the lowest ownership of that three. If Drummond is in, he's kind of interesting at center, just a smash spot against Brooklyn. He's, his entire career, he's pretty much done well in this spot. I like him as well. Detroit's just doesn't have much going on. Neither of these teams play good defense, just very, very good spot. So, like, if he's in, I think, Dame, one of the Rockets, Studs, and Drummond are obviously your optimals. With Miles Turner out, I think Domantas Sabonis against the Bulls with, like, none of their bigs healthy right now is just an amazing spot as well. Him and Drummond, that's kind of a tough decision if Drummond's in. And I also like Kyrie, like you, at 91. Maybe he plays inspired for Kobe. Maybe it's just a really good spot against Detroit, against like Derrick Rose and Reggie Jackson D. And he's a massive usage guy. Missed the last game, so he should be rested. I kind of like them all, but Dame is by far my favorite. Then probably Harden, then kind of trickles down. Then like the mid-tier to me is kind of weak today. Like, I think one of the big centers, like Gobert or Whiteside, are both in really good spots. I kind of like them because of like their low ownership projection with like a lot of the field going to Podol. I think they could certainly out-raw score Podol today, and like at low ownership, I think that's intriguing. They're both in kind of smash spots. DeRozan's getting all the usage with LMA. It's kind of priced in against a very good defensive team. I'm not as high on him. I think he's a great cash play, not such a great tournament play. And then like you got like Derek Fox, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle, Zach LaVine, who like I have minimal interest in. I'd say Fox would probably be my most interest, but like of the guys above 8K, I'm really interested at the top. Like Lillard, Harden, Drummond, Sabonis, Kyrie, I would say.
Fair enough.
Take it away, Shocksaw. Throw some color on it.
Throw some color on it, bro.
Color. I'm building a lineup. I currently have Kyrie, just because he's has tremendous upside. Like he put 65 against the Pistons last game, and what's he gonna do coming back after the whole with Kobe dying and all that? Took a personal day, and he's cheaper than Westbrook and Harden. And if he gets me 60 plus again against Detroit, I'll take it at 9,100.
This is like obviously NBA narratives are usually weight a little bit more than any other sport because these guys have the ball in their hands. Like they can literally just, if they want to shoot, they can go shoot. Any one of the guys that are on the court can just do that. But this is a game that seems like Kyrie, for instance, he's not going to play. Like Harden and Westbrook could play 40 minutes. Dame could play 40 minutes without overtime, right? It could happen. Kyrie is probably not playing more than 35 minutes, right? But he's been so productive with those minutes when he gets them. He can get 33 minutes and go for that, like that 50 points or whatever the case is. So I'm on a fence, man. I like Kyrie because it's easier to get to him. I like the narrative thing, but that's kind of why I'm starting to linger. Before I liked Harden more than Westbrook, and Westbrook more than Harden. Now I'm starting to linger back to Harden. And like Paulie, I'm a little afraid that it's because of I've been playing Harden more, and he's But like part of it is also narrative, right? Like we know Kobe and Harden. I'm sure Harden, like everyone else, idolized Kobe and everything else. Supposedly Kobe said that he believed Harden was next after him. Told that to Tyson Chandler, one of the teammates of James Harden. So I'm in a weird spot. Like, am I gonna project Kyrie for an amount of minutes that I don't really think he's gonna play? You know what I'm saying? Like just because of the narrative, or realistically, look at this. How many minutes do you think he really plays, or does he play more minutes because of the narrative? You see what I'm saying? It's like, yeah,
it's a buzzsaw.
It's a buzzsaw, man. It is. But I'm with you on Kyrie. One thing I'll say about I'm gonna play a lot of Kyrie. I'll say that. Other thing. When you're looking at it, you mentioned he went for 60 in the last game. Keep in mind that game did go to overtime. He played 37 minutes in that game because he got 5 minutes OT in that one. Just keep that in mind. But again, you factor in the fact that he's going to be emotional. Again, not everybody handles that shit well. I was talking about this in the game by game yesterday. Like everybody handles grief differently. So people can think, "Oh, I'm going to do this for Kobe," but maybe they don't. Like when they're upset, they don't perform. I'm just saying. I don't know. So it's weird, man. But it's tough. I agree with you though, Paulie, on the mid tier not being like super strong. But at the same time, knowing how low owned I think the mid tier is going to be, I'm kind of torn. Like. Do you think that mid tier is just gonna I feel like that mid tier is gonna go relatively low on if everybody's trying to get up the guards?
Yeah. Like, give me an example. What are you talking about?
Like the DeMar DeRozans, the Donovan Mitchells, the Buddy, right.
Yeah.
Like all those kind of guys. Look at that point guard, the John Morants, the Derrick Roses. These are all guys that their prices aren't perfect. If they were, we'd already be rushing to them. But I just feel like I'm gonna end up going with like what I think is the optimal build, and that's spending up at the guard position. But I can't help but like feel like, man, there seems to be a market that's just gonna go totally under-owned right in this mid tier. You know what I mean? I just can't locate it.
Yeah. I mean, you can get some shares of that.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
sure,
like
absolutely.
maybe your exposures, one tournament, you do a lot of stars and scrubs, and the other you kind of like don't play those stars and just let the thing give you all the mid tier.
Yeah.
But I like some days I like the mid tier more. Today I'm not digging it. Like there's not much. There's a couple guys that like are all right, but there's none that like I'm really that into.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Take it away, Shaq.
So going down to 8K, start at 8K.
No, from 5 to 8, pretty much.
5 to 8, 5 to 8. Okay, go 5 to 8. Me personally, I do have Carmelo and Podol. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's got too many vowels of 2. I don't know. He's got two L's with a T in between. Who has a name like that?
No one. That's pretty unique.
It is. I have
Um,
him. It just the Gobert thing does worry me. But he played so many minutes last game, and this guy just produces fantasy points though. Like he can do he's a blocking machine sometimes, and if he can go what he did last game, or just even a little bit less, I'll take. If he can give me 30 plus, I'll take that. And
yeah, the mid tier is weird though. Like, Podol's gonna be real popular.
Yep.
He's all right, but like, I'm not thrilled to play him at 5'6" against Gobert. Like, it's all right. It's not that it doesn't. Like, I think Joe Val is actually a little bit more interesting. He's been playing really well. Memphis has been awesome with like the peripherals. They're getting a ton of steals, a ton of blocks. Right? I think they're first in blocks over the last 10 games. Like, a lot of that's Jaren Jackson and Joe Val. So he's like 800 more. Much higher ceiling. The Knicks have been slow, good defensively, but still a pretty big total. I think that at lower ownership is a lot more interesting for tournaments. Like, I do the Podol in cash, Joe Val in tournaments, and then guys like Gobert and White, and even like Capella, who no one's probably going to play. He hasn't played in a while, just got ruled in, but Whiteside's miserable at defense, and we've seen him smash at times too.
Real quick, Drummond is expected to play.
Okay. Good. Very
just
good.
to give you a heads up on Drummond, just so we get that. Going back to the high price guys.
Yeah. So who else is in the mid tier? Let me do a quick little isolation. 5K, 8K.
One quick question from Crazy Cooks in YouTube. Now that Capella's in, are you worried about foul trouble with Whiteside?
I'm not sure if he's asking about Whiteside getting in foul trouble or Capella, but no, not much. I don't really concern myself with that all that much unless it's like a real foul-prone guy, but they both should get a ton of minutes if they're in. So no, not really worried about foul trouble. So mid-tier, guys that are interesting to me, John Morant. Knicks are terrible against defense, against the point guard. Elf's a terrible defender. He's just kind of getting better and better. The minutes have been like, instead of like 25 to 30, they're more like 30 to 34. Double, triple upside. He's kind of interesting. Buddy Hield's been balling since getting moved to the second unit. I think that's an awesome little situation for him where he's not like fighting for usage with, whether it's Bagley, who's hurt now, Fox, whoever else plays, Bielitsa, kind of like doing it all in the second unit. And I think getting bumped there kind of like woke him up, give him a little motivation. Brogdon, who's ruled in, is pretty cheap. Though the Bulls have been defending guards very well. It's all right. Marcus Morris is in a really good spot. Memphis has been getting murdered by small forwards. His game really profiles well in this matchup. They guard bigs well, so maybe he kind of has to step up for the next day. The Knicks are also trying to trade Morris, so I think they'll play him as many minutes as he can kind of handle. Jaren Jackson Jr., Joe Val, both of them. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 7 blocks yesterday. Didn't do much else, but when he does that with all the other stats, he can put up a monster score. We've seen him do it time and time again. They rarely both go off, and I doubt they would against the Knicks, who play slow. But I think one of those two has a very big game today. I like Bojan Bogdanovic from Utah. Was shooting the shit out of the ball late in that game against the Rockets. And the Spurs just don't really defend very well. So I can kind of see him at very low ownership, having a good day. More of a DraftKings play where you get the extra half point for 3-point shots because that's all he does. That's kind of it, though, for the whole mid-tier. Bielitsa's all right. Any one of the 3 guards from OKC's all right. But that's why I'm struggling with that build because there's just nothing there. I guess Derrick Rose, he's been balling, getting big minutes against Brooklyn. Guards have been killing Brooklyn. he's all right. But the price, he's right kind of like built in his price. He has gone for 40 plus every other game, basically, like going back about 12 games now. This would be the off game. I don't really believe in that pattern, but if he gets you 40 something, 42, 43 at 7.6, you'll take it. But I don't know. I don't see much in this mid tier that I'm really all that thrilled about.
Oh shit! I thought my shit was muted. I was sitting there typing away, keyboard worrying on you motherfuckers. My bad.
Yeah, you were.
I was, bro. Listen, I swear, I'm sitting here doing. I thought it was muted. My bad. So next time that happens, be like, shut the fuck up. Somebody just tell me that. Paulie, what about value, man? Like, are you into the Spurs value? And if not, like, talk to me about some of the other ones. We have a lot of value at guard. We have some interesting value.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not like spectacular value, but you do definitely have to play the Spurs value. A lot of candidates, though, which is kind of annoying, right? Like, Rudy Gay didn't do well last time. Doesn't mean he won't today. His price is super attractive. I like Patty Mills the most. I think, like, when he gets this amount of minutes in usage, he usually does well. He's like a captain of the team kind of guy. Like, he's going to always give his effort. And, like, with DeJounte Murray falling further out of favor, like, he's been closing games, so, like, you get that added bonus. And he's a guy that will take a lot of shots from three when they're trailing. But Derek White's also been playing well. You also got, like, Bryn Forbes, who's mega cheap. You got DeJounte Murray, who's got the most upside, I think. But he'll probably be the highest owned, and he really hasn't been very good lately. So you got like 5 guys I just named there. Trey Lyles, you can also throw in that conversation. So there's 6 guys from San Antonio to consider. Mills and Gay would be my favorite. I will play a little bit of Murray, but I'll be on the field on him. Derek White, I'll probably be over the field on, although I don't love his price, but like the way he's been playing. And I think Trey Lyles is fine too. And like, I think what I'm going to do is kind of load up on the guys up top that I like the 5 guys I mentioned, and just kind of get like 20% of the value plays. Like, I was kind of just going to list off the guys that I mentioned, like Mitch Robinson, Brandon Clark, Bruce Brown, Karis LeVert. I'm just going to play every day. Like, he's going to pop for 40 very soon. He shot terribly. I think that's why he hasn't gotten many more minutes, because he just hasn't been playing well while out there, and they've always been really cautious with this guy. But I think the good performance is right around the corner. If it's not this one, it'll be one of the next. But I think you just got to keep playing some of him. Looks like Jay Crowder is going to play. He's 4-4. I like that price. Kobe White, I have a lot of interest in. Mike Conley finally played 25 minutes, and his price went down at 3,800. 25 minutes of Mike Conley against San Antonio. That is very attractive. I think you could take a stab at Cristiano DeFelicio. Not a ton. Like, this slate is kind of thin, in my opinion. And none of those value plays really super stand out to me. I'd say Patty Mills, LeVert, and Kobe White are probably my favorites at this point.
Yeah, I feel you, man.
Did you post your cheat sheet, Paulie?
What'd you say?
You post your cheat sheet?
Oh, I did, actually. Thanks for reminding me. I got to Slack that, though.
Bazzy was wondering.
Yeah. Let him know. I got it. Don't worry about it.
I'll let it play when you see him in the streets.
Would you take a shot at Oladipo? 24 expected 24 minutes, limited 24 minutes.
Not today, but soon. But they're going to be patient with him.
I will say this: Oladipo is 4K on FanDuel, right?
What price?
4K.
Oh, I don't mind taking a shot there on a thin slate like this. I'd have to like grade out the rest of the position. I haven't even looked at FanDuel, but
yeah, you don't know if you need it,
where you
right?
get skills, yeah. He could get you 25 in 20 minutes,
right.
Because he is a high point per minute player.
30s and stuff. She.
How would you rank your Spurs value?
Mills, Gay, Murray, White, Miles. All right, what do you want to do? Optimals? Cash game builds?
Yep. Let's do it. Let's talk cash games.
All right. I think you got to put Podol in there. I think you throw Kyrie in there. DeJounte Murray.
Like a boat starting up.
Harden. How's that look? Anyone got DraftKings open?
Yeah.
Okay, so put Podol in, put Kyrie in, put DeJounte Murray in, put Harden in. Tell me how much money you got left.
Kyrie, Harden.
And DeJounte Murray.
Yep. You have 5,100 remaining per player.
Okay.
Trying to finish.
Probably got to grab another value play. Who do you think's like the next kind of popular value play, CK? Mike Conley?
Maybe him or Reggie.
Reggie Jackson?
One of those two, I think. Right? Or I mean, yeah, I would think so. Because like to put like Gay or Lyles in cash, even with an injury, seems weird. You know. So I guess it would be one of those guys. Long and hard.
I just built this interesting lineup. This one was interesting.
What is it? What's interesting about it?
I don't know. I have two of the San Antonio Spurs values.
That is interesting. Two. The San Antonio
Mills
Spurs.
and Gay. Mills and Gay.
Yeah, I think that's all right. And Podol?
No Podol.
Is this a tournament lineup for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually seeing Conley projecting as one of the higher ownerships on one of our rival sites. So, I mean, I think you throw him in at 3.8 with the minute increase.
Yeah, true that.
I have Drummond, Sabonis, and Irving in this lineup.
On DraftKings, you got Sabonis in that shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you must have had to suck some real long and hard ones to get that action in there. 9-4 for Sabonis, man.
Irving, Mills, LeVert, Sabonis, Drummond, Conley, Anthony, Gay.
Getting back to that cash lineup though, can you put we'll get back to that, but can you put Conley and then DeRozan in? Does that work? Like, how much is left now? I think that would leave 2 spots.
Let me sorry, I just wanted to save that. Harden, we had Pirtle,
DeJounte, Harden.
Yep. And then you said Conley.
Mike Conley. Can you fit DeMar DeRozan and have decent money left?
Who's our other guy? We have Irving, Harden, DeRozan, Pirtle, Murray, Conley.
Harden? Did you say Kyrie Irving?
Yep.
Irving, Harden, Podol, DeRozan, DeJounte, and Conley. That's 6 guys, right?
Yep. Yeah. 4,100 remaining per player.
That's tight. Maybe go from Harden to Westbrook. I know they're only 200 difference.
Yeah, so that'll give you an extra couple bucks.
Yeah, nothing really though. I mean, do we like come off of one of them and go to like Drummond instead to open up a few more dollars? Like Drummond against the Nets. Do we want that in cash?
I think that's reasonable, right? I mean, Drummond or Whiteside. Would there be? Do we have Whiteside already?
Yeah.
You could go with Whiteside.
Yeah, you could put Whiteside in. Yeah, that would work, right?
Whiteside instead of Harden.
Yeah, Whiteside instead of Harden. That should open up like $1,000 almost. We should have
That's
like
2,100 difference. Oh, I gotta see if Murray. Oh, but you can't play Mike Conley, can you? You can't play Conley though. Oh wait, you can't.
even without Harden now.
Yeah, because if you have Pirtle and Whiteside, they're both centers. Murray is point guard only. Kyrie's point guard only.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, they're all three only point guard only, so that's the problem.
Okay.
But you could play Patty Mills. You could play Patty Mills.
Mills, but he's not really a cash game guy.
Yeah.
All right. Instead of Hassan Whiteside, put in C.J. McCollum, another piece of that Portland team. That he's actually projecting to be pretty popular. He's a shooting guard, so we can do that.
Yep. 5,200 remaining.
With 2 spots left.
No, power forward, and utility.
Power forward, and utility. Okay.
Quick question. In the Wise Stream questions, favorite center tonight?
Mine's Joval.
I'm gonna end up with the most Podal, and then I'll probably have after him. And looking like I'm gonna end up with more Whiteside than Drummond. I thought maybe one of my favorite. How about this? One of my favorite tournament centers is actually Rudy Gobert, but not a guy I'm gonna have a substantial I'm not gonna have a crazy amount of him. I don't need it. He's gonna be solo owned, but he's somebody that's interesting. I know Paulie had always pointed out how bad the Spurs were at defending the paint. So optimally, I'll have more Podal, more Whiteside, maybe even more Drummond. But my favorite, just ignore the bullshit and just who do you think is sneaky at low ownership? I think Gobert would be the stud center, doing dirties and dropping sevens like a badass habit. Anybody hear from Huey's neighbors? Clint, did you check on Huey's neighbors?
What? I don't know. He's in the worst state. He's in Ohio. Oh, sorry.
Fair enough.
As all our Ohio subscribers leave.
And your NASCAR your new NASCAR partner Tommy SB Shake and Bake, who is also from Ohio.
Yeah.
Glorious.
Go a little bit more. Just move up a little bit north. That's the better one.
Fair enough. Oh man, it's a weird slate, man. I tell you what, I'm still trying to get a feel for it. I'm changing things around and trying to see different builds, and it's a weird slate. It's clear to see where the ownership. There's a bunch of guys like Paulie, like Joval. You like him? He's going to be low owned. Julius Randle, all these guys. There's guys that are just not going to get played. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
bunch of them. Please, yo, are you really growing a mullet out, Clint?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe in 10 years my beard will join me.
He's trying to grow out the beard, bro. How old are you?
It doesn't cooperate. I need some Rogaine.
How old are you?
25.
Why that reaction for 25?
Because I don't have a beard.
Oh
You're
man!
like a child. I shave this off, and people are like, I get ID'd for tobacco products, and I'm like, yeah, this is sweet.
Nice.
Smoking them funny tobacco products?
Nope. I go with the tins.
Who is your favorite value point guard, Paul?
Patty Mills.
Patty Mills.
No, I'm sorry. Kobe White.
Kobe White.
Then Patty Mills.
Then Patty Mills.
Oh, interesting.
I don't even have one of my off the wall value plays that I really like.
Yeah.
I'll find one. Let's see if I can find one.
You gonna find one?
I think Damian Dotson probably closes.
Yeah.
I was hoping Drummond would be out because they would be chalky, but at least he'd have some kind of value.
Yeah, dude, Christian Wood would do the dirty burgers.
Thon Maker would be if he was out. That would at least Thon Maker into
Don the Don.
The fun part last night was I played Dante Exum. That was fun. That was so fun.
Oh, Exum? Oh, yeah. That's he didn't do shit, right?
That's why I was like, I never play this guy. I shouldn't play him. And then I played him. I'm like, that's why I don't play you.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy.
I remember when he was supposed to be the next, when Utah drafted him, everybody was hyping him up.
Yeah. They get suck on it hard and long for him.
He's like a defensive specialist.
It's kind of like a Frank Ntilikina.
Frank Nitty. My boy Frank Nitty.
Favorite cheap plays. I think.
I've got mostly Spurs. I like Reggie, but
yeah, Reggie Jackson, Karis LeVert, Patty Mills. I'll think of some more in a second. 20 minutes to lock, though.
MG apparently says I look like a young Brian Pillman.
Nice.
He do kind of look like young Brian Pillman. You would with the mullet. Brian Pillman's son is like wrestling now, and he has a mullet. So you grow the mullet, bro, and you will be the real deal. You will be the full package, ready to go.
Oh. The more you rub on that chin, it gonna grows.
Just keep rubbing it. Keep rubbing it. Did you check YouTube for any questions? Did you leave the people in?
Yeah, no, I'm going back and forth.
Okay. Just want to make sure they're covered. You know, got to show love for the YouTube nation. I see the likes, guys. Please hit the like button if you haven't already. Much appreciated. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notifications bell so you don't miss out on the streams. If you have any questions, get them poured in. We got Shockey up here, man in the fort, while me and Paulie prepared to do the dirty on the entire NBA DFS industry. Ain't that right, Clint?
Yes, indeed. I was reading something while you're talking, so I'm like, and you throw it to me while I'm reading.
You got a task multi.
Task multi.
It's the best. When you've been doing this for a long time, it's pretty easy to recognize when the other person's not listening, and that's when you ask. That's when you kick it to them. Always. That's always when you kick it to them. Right, Clint?
Well,
right.
It's easy with. Yeah, it's easy. It's easy with Brew. It's easy with Brew because he's just. It'll be like coming back to earth. He just goes out and then he's back in.
Yeah. Fair enough. Oh man.
Expects to play. Stop saying expects to play. I keep putting it twice.
Any love for Chris Dunn?
Like, I do think someone else from Chicago is going to have to do something today. I don't know who that is. So, yeah, Chris Dunn, Tomas Sato, but Kobe White's the one I really like. You know, but someone's going to have to pick up the slack there. It's not just going to be all Levine.
Yeah. Dude, small forward is just such an ugly position, man.
It is.
Like, this just.
Usually when positions are that ugly, the move is to just punt them.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And that's kind of what I am most of my builds, but because of that, I'm ending up with a lot of Rudy Gay, Joe Harris.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Bog Diggly Dong, Bogdanovich.
LeVert.
Yeah, LeVert. I know Paulie's got some LeVert. Paulie got some LeVert, son. Yeah, I'm with you. Why not?
Don't worry,
right?
you can play.
It's like doo-doo butter, doo-doo brown.
Don't worry, you could also play Jakar Sampson to get you your 5 fantasy points at 3,000.
You're gonna need to play that motherfucker to get Sabonis. I can tell you. I can tell you that.
Nope. You just play and hope the cheap Spurs guys go off.
No. Oh dear. What team you before, Clint? Are you a Pistons fan?
Yes, but I wanted them to lose because for draft picks,
Well,
all the Detroit teams suck. So I want all of them to lose, so that way they can all be good in 5 years.
where
Well, the Tigers just gave away their best hitter, Nick Castellanos, to the Reds.
No, well, they traded him last year though. They traded him to the
That's true.
Cubs. They traded him to the
That is
Cubs.
true. That is true.
Yep.
That's right. It's been a
They
minute.
still gave him away. They just
Yeah.
didn't give him to the Reds. They gave him the Cubs.
I mean, there was no point of re-signing him and spending money when you could get at least something for him.
For sure, for sure. Where?
4 Spurs on one lineup too much is a question from YouTube.
No, I think that's the most you want to go, and I'd probably want to have one of Utah. Like my choice is Bojan. Considering how weak small forward is, it's a nice way to like use up a small forward spot. But Gobert and Mitchell are probably better, or Mike Conley.
Agreed. Agreedo.
All right, Jockey, tell us about this lineup of yours now.
I already thought I said it. You want to hear it again?
No, you said it so fast though. Like
Oh,
I want to actually
okay.
analyze it for you.
How slow? Irving, Mills. Too fast? Is that too fast? I can slow it down.
No.
Levert, Sabonis, Drummond, Conley, Anthony, Gay.
I would take Gay and Anthony out right now and see what 2v2s you can come up with that maybe are better. But otherwise, I like that lineup. It's unique. It's not very chalky, and
You think people will go to Drummond now that he's playing? How much do you think people go to him?
not a ton. I mean, he's up there. You got him next to Kyrie, who's going to be popular, Sabonis, and
I just like what he averaged 64 points against the Nets in 2 games this year.
I mean, if you even go further back, he's always killed the
Yeah.
Nets.
Well, the Nets have sucked for years. They can't do anything against him. Last time I played him, he almost got me the triple-double in turnovers, which is... I love those ones.
The triple-double in turnovers. That's glorious.
Yeah. Points, rebounds, and 9 turnovers. I was like, oh, you're so close. That should count as a triple-double. It's a stat.
It's always gangster when that happens.
Give me some of my turnover points back.
CK, I got a question for you.
What's happening?
Give me your top 3 game stats. I think I know what number 1 is.
Yeah, you know what number 1 is.
After that.
So after number 1, it would be Detroit, Brooklyn. And then I guess it would be, honestly, like, I guess it would be the Kings, but I'm tempted to say the Knicks. Like, the total's a little higher for the Knicks. They're being paced up by Memphis. It's just the schedule aspect, But the Knicks game is kind of haunting me. It's not even the Memphis side. Like, with Joval, Morant, Jaren Jackson on Memphis, I'm cool with all those guys. But it's really like the Knicks side is going to go crazy low owned. Like Alfred Payton, Morris, and their prices are up. They should be low owned because, if you're in your right fucking mind, you should stay away from the Knicks at all costs. But at the same time, it's kind of interesting. It's the 3rd highest total on the slate, really. I mean, it's pretty tight after the first game, but
13 minutes to lock.
30s and 7s. What about you, bruh?
So Portland, Houston, number 1. San Antonio, Utah, number 2, and Detroit, Brooklyn, number 3.
Detroit, Brooklyn, number 3. Brooklyn.
Shockey, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
What?
Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
I want Andy Reid to win it. He is the most deserving coach to win a Super Bowl.
Ever?
So, he has the most wins in coaching history without a Super Bowl. A coach with the most wins without a Super Bowl, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like Dan Marino. He's got the most fucking yards in no Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I get it. He's a coach.
I just want him. It's for Andy Reid.
The more I think about the game, like I just can't see how San Francisco wins. Like
If they take the ball out of Mahomes' hands, Kansas City can't stop the run. San Francisco only runs. That's how you beat them. You take the ball out of Mahomes' hands. And hopefully they don't score in 30 seconds like they do against everybody.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is there any way that the Chiefs don't score 20 points or 30, 25 points? I don't see it. So that means Sam Brady's going to have to put up points. And, like, maybe they can, but that kind of game script just favors KC.
Hill and McCole Hardman, two of the fastest wide receivers against slow cornerbacks.
Yeah.
You hear Kittle has been dealing with a torn labrum since 2018.
Wow.
And he says he doesn't want to get surgery on it.
Where is your labrum?
Oh,
Shoulder.
I've torn my labrum twice, the same shoulder. That sucks, bro. Tore it twice, same fucking shoulder. Oh, man, that sucks.
Oh, I was out of that. Oh, barking at it.
So, Paulie, do you have any of your crunches done? I'm curious on who your highest exposures are.
I know for a fact it's going to be Dame Lillard.
You're gonna go that heavy on Dame? How heavy though?
75%.
Damn, that's heavy. I like that.
I'm trying to be like you, bro.
I like that PM. Going heavy on a PM. Damn.
Yeah, nah. I'm only playing 21 teams, so like, I'm just kind of going with a core heavy exposure on the guys I like, and he's my favorite player on the slate. So
fair enough. Do you have any interest in Malcolm Brogdon at 6'6"?
Not much, but I'll have like him on 2 of 20 teams.
Yeah, man, it's like I'm not really reaching him, but like again, as part of the mid tier, it's like I'm not getting a lot of that mid tier. I'm getting so much.
Like Turner being out does almost nothing for me, right? Oladipo being in kind of like hurts everyone there. You got Warren, you got Lamb, Sabonis. Like I think they're all kind of like taking a hit. Sabonis is the only one that like I think is like a worthwhile play that has like upside and shouldn't really lose from like Oladipo being there. And with no Turner, he should get more shots, more rebounds. But everyone else is just, you know.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm really stars and scrubbing it. The more I'm thinking about it. Like, there's a couple guys in the mid tier, right? Like I'm starting to really like Bojan Bogdanovic and Joval. But other than that, not a ton.
Mm-hmm. Long and hard.
There was a question. 8 Ds. Is that how long it is, or your grades in high school?
Honestly, I think that is how long it is, to be honest.
So
it just so
if
happens.
I just wrote 8 Ds.
I mean, honest, like the story behind that is just like I put Paulie D and they were like, "This is taken," and I was just like, I just put my finger down on the D and let a bunch of them spit out, and then it stopped at 8, and they accepted it. And then
so Paulie D 1 through 7 was already taken.
Yes.
Oh,
I didn't try that. I didn't try 1 through 7.
Yo, if Sam was available, he would have taken Sam. Trust me. If it was, it would have been fit.
That's a very warm, humid environment for 7.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, man, bro. Oh, sitting at this damn desk.
This first time on this, I feel like it's the slowest NBA news day ever.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, there's like nothing.
There's really nothing. Like we got everything we're waiting for. It's kind of straightforward. It's like 7 minutes to lock. That kind of crept up on me. I'm like, You know, like I feel sorry for you,
Yes.
Shockey. I thought you were gonna have a little more to, a little more fuel, a little more to discuss, but it happens to be one of the more quiet slates out there. I like tonight. But it's cool. Everybody wanted to see the mustache anyway, so you know.
There, everyone's jealous.
They are.
Everyone,
With that, actually.
but I don't know if I want to go into the NBA chat room after this and see if anybody's. Yeah, I'll peek my head in there.
Don't be afraid of the nation.
Anyway,
Man. It's so weird, Paulie. Like one thing you know about me is like I am not afraid to play the chalk. I got no problems playing the chalk when I'm doing 150 teams. But there's something
I
about
don't even know what
today.
the chalk is besides total.
True.
Like,
True.
what is the chalk?
Anthony,
No, that's true. But all that aside, what I know is the chalk is. I mean, what I know is contrarian is the mid tier. I don't like it, but like I know nobody's doing that, right? Like this, like I think one of Harden, Westbrook, or Lillard is gonna be, or Kyrie, Harden, Westbrook, like Lillard. One of those guys is gonna be on like every team, right? Like virtually, not literally. So like I do respect it. So I have this urge to like make the mid tier more and like look at guys harder, like Elf and John Morant and some of these, some of these players. I just don't
Yeah,
like it enough.
John Morant.
Like
I like Joe Val.
yeah.
And I like Bojan.
Right, but like you could see that happening. I mean, even if something as simple as like a Spurs game stack with like if you use the value pieces to get Gobert and Mitchell or something. You know what I'm saying? Like on the other side with DeRozan, I could see it. I'm not gonna have a lot of it. It's just not the way it's working. I'm not gonna sit here going back and forth trying to get it to work. But I'm like that scares me. But you're right. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not the chalk build, and like because I don't know what is either. Everybody's got like their own version of what they think is gonna be chalk, and
So I got my exposures now, and Patty Mills is my second highest player. Then Kyrie, then LeVert.
oh, excellent! All three in my lineup.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I gotta actually raise Mills a little bit. I think I saw his projection was a little low.
4 minutes.
Shit, don't drop that on me.
Okay.
Patrick.
I'll just come in first and then just play it all on golf for the
Are
weekend.
any starting lineups out, Shockey?
All I saw was the Pacers.
That's it. Just the one.
Maybe I'll scroll back. I'm scrolling.
Scrolling.
It's just like, damn. Like I don't even see it. Even with like Drummond expect. Oh, Nets just came out with one.
Okay.
Irving, Temple, Harris, Prince, Allen.
So they're not starting Dinwiddie again? That's big I think that's great for Irving. He's been, without Spencer Dinwiddie on there, Irving's been a little more aggressive, just chucking the ball up. Paula.
Yep.
How to play when you see him in the streets. Three minutes to lock now?
Yeah, 3 minutes.
Where's she? Yo, how clutch was DraftKings making it like super easy to bulk enter now on your phone? That was slick.
Yeah, that was good.
Straight up Clutchington for a pimp. Make it easy for a pimp. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Clint's from Detroit, but he white though. Oh shit! Did I get rid of all my DraftKings tabs? Well, that's a good way to F me in the A. Oh shit!
It's me in the.
Better Stick it in there like swimwear. We got 2 minutes to lock, nation. In there like swimwear.
Ew.
How many
Doing
games
something.
start at 7?
Just the one. Then I think the next one's at 7:30.
Oh wait, I'm on the wrong day. That makes more sense. Yeah. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, 7, 7:30, 8:30, 10.
That's how it is.
I'll just stack the whole first game so I can be in first place and screenshot it.
Screenshot life. Screenshot life.
1 minute.
1 minute to lock. Here we go.
19 seconds.
Is that legitimate? You got the.
I got the DraftKings thing pulled up so I can see the actual time.
Oh, sick with it.
And then someone gets ruled out right after lock.
That's the usual. Well, if it's from the Pacers game, it shouldn't affect me that much. I don't think I have very many of those guys. Just didn't work out.
You're gonna want Sabonis when he drops 85.
Oh, he's gonna drop 85. Oh shit! You heard it here, nation. When Sabonis drops 85, you heard it here. Heard it here, son. That's going to do it for today's edition of the Wise Stream. It was a quiet slate, but you know what? That's actually a good thing, man. I mean, as far as playing it goes, we had plenty of time to kind of think our decisions out and do what we do. It's not the greatest slate, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's good when you don't have to scramble like a maniac and, you know, Devontae Graham gets ruled out, then ruled back in, and 10 minutes before lock and just scrambling. So, all in all, it should be fun. Clint, it's been real, bro. You know, curious to see how your personality unveils. I think you're giving bits and pieces to the nation, and I think the nation is utterly confused. But one thing I do know about you is the man does love his sports. He loves sports. He loves pretty much every sport, which is definitely respectable, man. I know. You know, we appreciate having you aboard, and we look forward to doing all these, to doing a bunch more shows with you, and making fun of you along the way, because that seems to just be a natural thing. It happens when people do shows with you for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe it's the mustache.
I bring it out in people.
I feel like you do. I do. But you know what? You're a great sport about it. You can handle that shit, and you can dish it. Hey, you're going at it with Bruce, so I'm with it. So we're going to get out of here. We'll be back at it tomorrow for the Wise Stream. Come catch us. For Clint, for Paulie, for myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.
Yeah.